Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. My name is Jonathan Clare, being joined by Damien Ritchie. Damien, another exciting edition of Sports Night. Here we go.
Yep.
And that's the end. That was all the excitement for today.
The Winter Olympic extravaganza.
I am looking forward to the Winter Olympics, or at least to the curling aspect of the Winter Olympics. I love curling.
I'm looking forward to military hostilities involved in the military Olympics, in the Winter Olympics.
You never know what could happen.
You never know.
So my sister had told me at one point, and I don't know if this is true or she'd heard or whatnot, but North and South Korea were contemplating some sort of like combined hockey team. I don't know if you had heard that or not.
I heard something about them being combined for some stuff, and then like the athletes said it without like getting approval from Kim Jong-un.
Oh, real? Oh, okay.
And now they're dead.
Probably, yeah. They didn't get approval for it, yeah.
How good can they be? I mean, their country's malnourished.
But except for the athletes. I think the athletes are like...
Okay, let me put it this way. Did you ever see that documentary about the the DMZ?
No.
It's fascinating. It's like a National Geographic one.
Yeah.
And it goes into like the South Korean soldiers that are posted there are like top of their class. And they're all like masters of like this specific type of martial arts.
Yeah.
And so when they relieve the other soldier in their post, they stand in a martial arts pose, like a ready to fight pose, for like a 3-hour shift. And they don't move. And that's like that's how South Korea wants to like play the mind game with them.
Yeah.
The American soldiers there, the minimum height requirement is 6'3". So we send like beasts over there to just like look intimidating. And then they like the camera like panned out and zoomed into the North Korean dudes, and they were like malnourished.
Yeah.
So if that's the best that they have to show, I don't know, man.
Maybe it's not though, because I think North Korea knows they're not going to come in and invade us. Because if they did, we're just going to drop bombs on them.
Yeah, but wouldn't you want to show at least something?
I don't know. Maybe they think, they're that crazy that, I don't know. Or maybe they just don't care. I don't know.
That our first line of defense can be mowed down easily.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does North Korea, have they participated in previous Olympics?
I think so, yeah.
I wonder what they're like. Are they good at anything specifically?
I don't know. Weightlifting, wrestling, things you can not get caught taking steroids for.
Well, did you see like
or try not to get caught
in some recent like track event, and it was like in an indoor facility. Yeah, some like the European Games or something. Just before the track event started, like where the participants were like the governing body of like track came in and said like, okay, this is gonna be like a total surprise, but everybody here is gonna get drug tested right now. And something like 67 Russian athletes said, no, don't drug test me, I'm not gonna participate, and they left. So
well, I mean, that's not a surprise considering they're not.
That's what they do.
Well, yeah, and they're almost essentially banned from these Olympics. They were banned from the Olympics, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they're banned from this Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
But some of the athletes are gonna do the like independent flag.
That's
thing.
right. That's right. Yeah.
They should just make up their own flag, or there should be like Monaco should be like,
come on over to us.
I'll give you citizenship. Yeah.
Do you have to? Is it just citizenship, or do you have to be a naturalized citizen?
My assumption is that that's based on the country's choice.
Okay, because I think there have been other people, like Americans, that participate under different flags because
like
their parents were born in.
Yeah, you and I can make the Italian baseball team for the Olympics because like that's what happened.
Maybe like 18 years ago.
Like
but
Lou Merloni made it the Olympics. No, but like that's what there was like.
Right.
Like the entire Italian baseball team were like third generation Americans.
Right.
So yeah, I guess it's you know what? Be fun. They should be like some fun Caribbean island. Like Jamaica should keep rolling with the bobsled and like be like, hey, Russians, you know what? You could ski for us.
Why not? Right?
Yeah, just have fun with it. It's all a joke anyway. It's not real sports. Yeah. We have the Super Bowl coming up in 2 weeks.
All right. Well, speaking of that, we're gonna try to make contact with.
It's not open heart surgery.
Well, maybe it is, and we just don't know that.
Did you see Belichick in that press conference?
I saw a little bit of it today.
How can he throw with a hurt thumb? I don't know. Just he can't. It's not open heart surgery. It's throwing a football.
All right, so we're going to see if we can get our first phone call here and make sure I didn't screw this up. Oh, well, I guess I did screw it up.
The beef of a screw-up.
So, hold on a second here. Let me...
You can edit this all out later.
No, I'm just going to leave it all in.
Yeah.
So I might have just hung up on Seth, or I just didn't do the call correctly.
Or he didn't pay his phone bill.
Or maybe he didn't pay his phone bill.
Very good. Or he changed his number yet again. These are all very good explanations.
Okay, hold on.
Or he tested positive for steroids.
So, all right, let me try him again here. Oh, I already hear that I screwed it up, so I don't know what I'm doing here. So I'm going to have to say, can you call me?
Yeah.
So anyway, Super Bowl is coming up soon.
Yeah.
Unbelievably.
That'll be nice. Nice little Super Bowl again. So Tom Brady wins this. Is he allowed to finish his career being subpar for like the next 2 seasons?
Maybe, yeah. If he
and still be considered the greatest. Because, he'll be like 41. They're like, he's not that good.
Correct, but I think Belichick would be like, no, you're out of here. Like, he'll one season, or even, if he's really bad next season, and he has someone else in the queue to go, he might just say, all right, you're done.
Do you think that if Brady retires, do you think Belichick would leave out of anger that Kraft forced his hand to trade Garoppolo? Or do you think Garoppolo, who has not re-signed with San Francisco,
not yet, no,
is saying, well, maybe Tom will retire and I'll go right back
and come back? I don't know. I don't know if he would.
And would that look shady?
Oh, it definitely would. All right, hold on a second here. Let me see. Hello, Seth McLaughlin.
Hello, boys.
What's going on?
Not too much. I'm about to board a plane.
Oh, where are you going?
Going to NOLA for the Royal Rumble.
Really?
No, I made that up.
I was like, I doubt you're going there, but maybe you are. Who knows? So actually, real quick, before we were just talking about the Super Bowl. I know you were watching the 25th anniversary celebration of Raw on Monday night, and you were chatting up a storm about it. What were your final thoughts on the whole 3-hour or 3.5-hour show?
As a whole, it was disappointing.
Yeah.
The first hour, and maybe even to be more condensed, the first opening segment was amazing. It was probably the best experience I've had watching wrestling outside of a major pay-per-view in the last year, maybe more than that. It was awesome. It was so cool to see Stone Cold come back and stun everybody and drink beers, and it just it was impossible to not feel like you were 16 again watching that. It was awesome.
But then after that, it was all downhill.
Then progressively as the night went on, it just got worse and worse, and
almost like as time progressed, you got a chance to reflect on wasting 25 years of your life.
No, I think the show just sucked as it went along.
You know what? This is a total sidebar. Has WWE ever won not a daytime, but have they ever won an Emmy for best television program? And what category will they fall under?
The answer, I believe, is no. They have not. They, I know that the producer of the show, the guy's name is Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah.
I want to say he's been nominated before, but has never won. I actually think that that he has said in interviews before that his goal is to achieve that type of recognition because he's been producing the show for 25 years.
Well, I mean, yeah. So SportsCenter has won an Emmy,
Yeah.
Monday Night Football has won an Emmy, I think. Would that fall under a sports category or drama?
Well, it's always. I think that's sort of where wrestling has always fallen into the cracks of legitimacy, is no one really knows what the hell it is. I mean, it's certainly scripted entertainment, but I don't think you can classify it as a soap opera. I don't know. Maybe you can.
I mean, would it be tough for them to win because so many people like, it's just fake or it's fake stuff. It's, like you said, a
Yeah,
soap opera.
I think the people that probably vote for those things would have no idea what the hell it is.
Right. But Matt, you would think over that 25-year period, I'm sure you could think of maybe not necessarily the date or the year, but there's been one show that was just like, unbelievable, great 2 hours if it was, way back when, or 1 hour, where just everything happened and the crowd was exciting and just the whole overall production element was outstanding. You would think at some point they would have won something going up against whether it was Sports Center or Monday Night Football, or people just go, oh, it's Monday Night Football. That's obviously much better than anything WWE or WF at that point would have put out.
Well, so does Monday Night Football have seasons? Like, would they have won?
Yes, they have a football season, right?
So but it would be considered like they won in the 2017 season, because like wrestling doesn't have seasons.
No, so but but it would go by year. Like there's shows that are only around, like Game of Thrones is like a summer season, but they're still like nominated for like best television program.
Well, I think what it is for the Emmys that are going to be coming out whenever it is, it's you have to enter a show that aired between January 1st and December 31st, 2017. So it doesn't have to be any sort of season. It could be one season, but spread over 2 different years. So as long as it goes in that time period, you can enter.
So it goes by calendar year?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, if the best show was on the 31st of December, then they could enter that in for 2017, thing like that. And kind of like the Oscars, as long as you get it in before a certain date, you're eligible. So even though a movie just came out, say, January 5th, it's still eligible for this year's Oscars. So it's whatever that category or calendar that they set for the awards. But
yeah, I think it just boils down to they don't want to invite a bunch of wrestlers to the Emmys in the hopes that they wear their underwear or something.
So you were chatting back and forth on our group thread, and so towards the end, I was getting ready to go to bed.
The only answer I could find is from Yahoo Answers, which is never a reliable source, but it says that WWE has never been nominated for any Emmy consideration.
Yeah, so even that producer guy, I know that he said in the past that's something he wants to do. That's like his lifelong achievement.
So anyway, I turned it on towards the very end, and I guess there were 2 locations from what you were saying where they had the show on Monday night, and it was at the Manhattan Center was where the first one was held, and that's where they had a special viewing or whatever it was that was called.
In 1993, the very first Raw premiered at the Manhattan Center. So they brought back all of the old, decorations, I guess. I mean, I don't know. They had like the old Ico Pro banners. Remember those?
Vaguely.
I don't even know what Ico Pro. What are you talking about?
It was like, just, the things that were around on the banners of the stadium or arena, whatever it was.
Ico Pro, I think it's, I don't know, probably some sort of steroid maybe. They had like the neon light signs and just the old ring and the old colors, and it was awesome. It was really cool to see.
So that's when I was turning it on, and I turned it on when DX was coming back in for their little final thing, and I turned it on just before Razor Ramon, the 95-year-old Razor Ramon, came out, and I was like, oh my god, this. And then they cut to a commercial for however long, and I almost turned it off because I wasn't paying attention. I was like, why did they cut to a commercial? He comes out, he doesn't even say anything, and then they cut to a commercial.
They want to keep you hanging.
Well, I know, and I was like, oh my god, and I almost turned it off, and I think, Seth, you were quite upset about that commercial break too.
Maybe that's why that guy's never won an Emmy for production.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Look, ready? I found very specific information. In order to win an Emmy, you have to submit to the Emmys that you're in contention.
Yeah, you have to submit a show or something like that.
So then first, WWE has never even submitted to be in contention for an Emmy.
Well, hold on, how do you know that though? We don't know that
because they've never been nominated. I don't know. Yeah, I guess maybe not. Okay, yeah. So they say like this is reasons why people who win, let's say, there's actors who you think were the lead actor in a movie, but they nominate themselves as supporting actor because they look at somebody else in a like different movie or show and go, "Oh yeah, that dude's gonna win." so they grab up the other one. So in order to WWE to be nominated, there's only 2 categories they can fall under. One is the sports awards, which is their ability to produce a sports program, which, obviously wrestling is staged, and so that then it won't fall under that. But the only other thing that they can really fall under is variety and musical because of the live aspect to it. So
they could win that. They could win that.
What WWE needs to do is have do you know how each year ABC does they did the Sound of Music live and I forgot what the most recent one they did was.
Grease,
WWE,
maybe?
huh?
Grease.
Yeah, so WWE needs to have a musical episode, and they will crush.
Well, tell me this: if WWE Raw is a scripted program, or somewhat scripted, however you want to do it, couldn't they say John Cena? We're going to submit him as best actor.
John Cena has to submit himself.
Well, yeah, but I understand that. But they would just submit him as best actor.
Yeah, I think they could, but then they'd have to show highlights of him doing promos, and he'd probably lose.
Well, because you can't see him in the first place.
And they'd be like, this guy sucks.
Well, anyway, so I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I just thought it was an interesting thing, and I know you were super excited about it.
So that's why apparently Vince has been coining the term sports entertainment for years, is his subtle way of creating an Emmy category.
Ooh, he's playing the long con.
He's playing checkers when everyone's playing chess.
Well, the other thing, couldn't you? I know the Emmys, they have a reality TV program or reality TV category now. You think they could go in for reality TV?
Well, I don't think The Undertaker is really dead.
Well, I know he's not dead, but still, you could say it's reality TV because reality TV is essentially scripted now.
Yeah, it is. That's the dirty, dark secret of reality TV.
I think it might be. I would love to see the Vegas numbers on WWE winning an Emmy.
Yeah, why not? Go up against Monday Night Football. That might be interesting.
They should do it.
All right. Anyway, quickly, we'll talk about the Super Bowl. You obviously have a fan of the Super Bowl in with you as well.
You tell that cat to stop.
It's some lady brought a baby on this plane.
Throw a cup of water in his face.
Tell that kid to shut up.
So, your household is a divided household for this game. How's that going to affect your viewing of this game?
Well, after a long discussion and some barbs thrown back and forth.
Literal barbs, I assume.
Yes, to the rose bushes and grabbed a bunch of thorns. So what we've decided is myself and my wife, we are going to go into isolation and watch the game within our own household by ourselves, so that all of the hatred and vitriol can be contained in a very private place. And that way, if one of us needs to storm off and slam a door and go to bed early, we can do that.
Well, that makes sense, then.
Well, but here's the thing, right? As a Patriots fan, I know it would really suck to lose. Well, yeah, no, I don't want Eagles to win. They're not if it was the Vikings, I would be like, oh, okay, let the Vikings have a little moment in the sun. But the Eagles fans are just the scum of the earth.
Oh yeah, big time.
Did you know that the Boston Esplanade has banned anything Philadelphia and or Eagle related?
Yes, and I think it's quite stupid, but
I don't think it's stupid at all, John.
They can do that.
They can. The Esplanade has authority over they're have diplomatic immunity. I don't even think the governor can control what happens on the Esplanade. Also, apparently, John Ritchie, the former fullback for the Raiders and the Eagles, is convinced that the Patriots watch the Eagles practices.
Yeah, I heard about this.
And that the Patriots won the Super Bowl in 2001 because of 9/11, and it was a way to heal the country. This man has his own program.
Well, whatever. I don't know what to say about that, but I don't know what to say.
He said Well, it was.
What if this is true? What if George W. Bush called, was it Tagliabue at the commissioner at that point?
Well, they asked him. They said the Tuck rule, and he was like, "Yeah, when the refs, did that, it's a stupid made up rule." And which is obviously that's in the books like prior to the season starting.
I mean, it's not made up.
Yeah, but they were like, there was things happening in the country at the time. Like, okay, what do you mean? And he's like, well,
so his working theory is they just picked the most patriotic team, and we just happened to have a team called the Patriots.
In fact, that's what he said. He goes, okay, right? He's like, all right, well, if you want to twist my arm, all right, it was 9/11 happened that year, right? And they're the Patriots, the Patriots. He's like, I think, the powers that be wanted them to win.
So in that same light, did Major League Baseball screw up by allowing the Diamondbacks to win?
Big time, yeah. I think Mariano Rivera screwed up.
Well, they had Byung-Hyun Kim trying to throw it, I guess, but they still were able to overcome that, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, your thoughts on the actual game, Seth? There's been a lot of talk, I think, today around people throwing a lot of praise. Well, a lot of praise for the Eagles, saying that this is the exact team that gives the Patriots the most trouble. They kind of like Jacksonville, and they're not going to back off and get scared like Jacksonville did.
And they're going to target Gronkowski and
yeah, I know, huh? So, what are your thoughts on the actual game?
Well, right off the bat, I'd just like to say I'm compromised by having somebody with me. So,
that baby, it's that baby.
So some of my answers may not be as
forthcoming,
as they normally would be. But I'll say this: I agree that this is the worst type of team to play if you're the Patriots.
Put Nancy on the phone.
They have in years past, the Patriots have always struggled with defenses that can rush up the middle, as we all know, and have, decent to good to very good cornerback play, which, is sort of right up the Philadelphia Eagles' alley. However, I think playing Nick Foles is sort of a big break for us. I don't believe that Nick Foles is the guy that we've seen the last 2 playoff games. And I'm a huge Nick Foles fan. I liked him during his first Philadelphia run. I thought that he was unfairly criticized and unfairly released first time around.
You would agree, though, he is a better quarterback than Bortles, though, correct?
Yeah.
I'm surprised it took you that long to answer.
I think he's a better quarterback than Bortles.
There's some disagreement in the car.
I mean, yes, I think he's a better quarterback than Bortles, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think Brady and Belichick are still better than what Nick Foles and that defense can do. I'll say this: I was more nervous for the Patriots playing Jacksonville than I am for them playing the Eagles.
Yeah,
interesting.
No, I agree.
And I don't really know why that is, because if the Jaguars were playing the Eagles, I'd probably pick the Eagles. For some reason, I don't think Brady and Belichick's not going to get beat by Peterson and Foles in the Super Bowl. He's just not.
I hope so. I think this is a tougher game for us than Jacksonville because of the Philly offense, I think, is better, and that's going to give us a problem.
My counter argument to that, being a coach myself and high in the field, I have to look back in the Patriots. Their defense is a literal garbage heap of the league. Belichick is getting to the point where he was like, I wonder how bad. I'm just going to put four punters as my front line or my defensive line and still make it far. That defense is awful.
Specifically in the linebacking core. It's the worst linebacking core in the history of the league.
The fact that they signed a 47-year-old Harrison from the Steelers.
And got better.
And he's automatically starting, and they're better.
Well, they also had injuries for the linebacking core this year, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if Hightower was still playing...
Did you see that video of him prior to the game that got leaked out?
Hightower?
Yeah.
No.
Where he he was the one that opened the door to the locker room to like let everybody out, and he was so amped up. He's like, my D, banging his chest. He's like, where's my D? And then he opened the door. He's like, let's go, my D. And he's like shoulder bumping everybody. And Brady gave his high pitch, let's go. But like, it's just amazing. It's amazing what Belichick does. It's almost like he cheats.
It's I when you mentioned our little group chat before, I think I've shown myself to be, of that group, probably the most anti-Belichick person there.
I think you're right up there with that. Yeah,
and I have for years criticized and have always jumped at the chance to criticize Belichick for roster moves, specifically in letting Jones and letting the other guy, what's his name? Guy that went to Cleveland that everyone forgets about now?
Oh, yeah. Him.
I killed Belichick for those two moves. I killed him saying that it's going to affect our depth, that it's going to cost us a Super Bowl. And the very next thing that happened was we won a Super Bowl the first year, and we're back in the Super Bowl the next year. So it's at the point now where it's inarguable that all that matters is Belichick. All that matters is the quarterback and the coach.
Yep.
That's it. Yeah. That is it. You do not need anybody else.
I cannot stress how low on the talent level the front seven is. I can't.
We also didn't have anyone. Danny Amendola was the MVP. We had no wide receivers. We had no tight end. We had no running. We had nothing.
Right.
Nothing in that game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, if you have a good head coach and a good quarterback, or two of the greatest, you're obviously going to be able to do it. And the other thing, too, is, with Jacksonville, they're looking across the field and going, oh, man, they got Brady and they got Belichick. We got to do everything perfect. They get tight. They get nervous. I think they got conservative, obviously, and that just, let them come right back into the game. I don't think Philly's going to do that, though. That's the only thing. Well, maybe I'm wrong.
This is what, and even like last year's Super Bowl, this is what the Patriots are. It's a boxing match that's going to go 12 rounds whether you want it to or not. Okay? And then the Patriots knock you out in the 12th round. It's like, most boxing match, Tyson could knock you out in the first round, okay, and it's over. No, you're not going to be able to knock them out. It's going to go 12 rounds. So get that in your mind.
And you're going to play 60 minutes.
And you could win points. You could win all 11 rounds. And then in the 12th round, they knock you out. That's what the Patriots do to you.
And the other thing, John, when you mentioned that you don't think the Eagles are going to, crap themselves the way Jacksonville did.
Yeah.
You might be right, because that team has so much talent that they really might not. But I think in the back of their minds, there's that little thing that they know that they're playing with their backup quarterback. And if things don't go perfectly, like you said, I think that could start to snowball.
No, it definitely could.
That once the Patriots get a lead late in the game, does that team really believe Foles can bring them back against the Patriots?
Well,
with Carson sitting on the sideline, I don't know.
I
like Foles. I just don't. I don't know. I don't think he's the guy that's going to be able to dethrone the Patriots.
That's definitely. If the Patriots if it's a close game or the Patriots are ahead in the fourth quarter, I'm definitely right there with you. But if Philly gets a big lead, like Jacksonville, not that Jacksonville had a big lead, but they have a 10-point lead, or obviously if they have a 14, 17-point lead like last year, Atlanta, I don't see Philly choking it away this time. I think if we get down that much, we're done for, because I think Philly has seen what Atlanta did, what Jacksonville did, and they're going to go, all right, we got to keep our foot on the pedal. Be smart about it. Don't make stupid, wildly out there plays, but, don't give up. Keep doing what we do well, and don't go, all right, we're going to run up the middle 3 times and be 3 and out and punt it away, and then, they get 7, and then we've, 3 and out and run it again, then they get another 7. So, all right, well, Seth, I know you need to get going here. Any last thoughts before we let you go?
All right. Nancy just got out of the car real quick, so screw the Eagles. Patriots going to win. And, it's going to be a real close game, and it should be a good battle.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for calling. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you hopefully sometime soon.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Belichick is amazing. Amazing. He is the Mona Lisa DeVito of football, even though he said he's not. He really, it really is. They have garbage on defense. Their defense is atrocious. And yet he finds a way. He stops you when you need to be stopped. Oh, God. He's so good.
All right, we're going to get ready for our next call here. Hold on one second.
ML. So is he at the baseball writer's office? He must be, knowing him.
I have no clue.
So how are we doing this? Skeep?
So let me pull up Michael here. So I want to try a Facebook Messenger video chat here.
Oh, technology is through the roof. Now, are we getting sponsored by Facebook?
No. And we'll see if this works. Hold on.
Oh,
here we go. Okay, let's see.
Well, I see myself. Ooh, press a little button.
Yeah. So we'll see if it. Hey.
I see it. Yeah, he has. You're at the Baseball Writers of America's office, aren't you?
That has to be what it is. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're being joined by Michael Long. Mike, thanks for joining us here on Sports Night. This is the first video call that we'll be able to edit in later on here.
Fancy, I like it.
All right, so we were just off the phone with Seth McLaughlin. Talked a little bit about the Patriots and the Super Bowl. He thinks it's a tough matchup, the Patriots for the Eagles, or the Eagles for the Patriots, excuse me. But he thinks the Patriots still be able to win. What are your thoughts?
I would have been frightened by it if Carson Wentz never went down. The way Carson Wentz was playing, it just seemed like the worst-case scenario hypothetical matchup. Not that we were going to make the Super Bowl every year, but we seem to make the Super Bowl every year. We being the Patriots, like I'm on the team. Yeah, but with Foles, I mean, Foles had that one good game initially where he looked like Wentz, and then he had a couple of terrible games. Regardless of the quarterback, the defense is still really good. And I think I don't know, man. It's like I think it'll be another close one, like it always is. Win or lose.
See, defenses don't scare me as much as high power offenses, because with enough time, they can pick apart a defense.
Yeah. I just the defense for Philly is not what worries me. It's just that it's the offense. Like, and they have a decent defense, but I think it's just the offense. Like kind of like Atlanta. I think if they get ahead, then we're going to be in trouble. My thought to Seth and Damien was
who's steering the ship on that offense.
I know it's Nick Foles, but my theory was that Philly offense is good, even with Foles leading the way, and that if they get a big lead, they're not going to choke it away like Atlanta or Jacksonville did because they have seen those two teams, what they did, so they know they're going to need to play smart, but keep their foot right on the pedal 100% and go for the jugular right when it counts against the Patriots.
Philly D seems to make plays too, like as in turnovers, as in scoring touchdowns a lot. Not necessarily a lot, but they make the most of the turnovers that they get. It seems like so.
Yeah,
it's not going to be easy, that's for sure. I mean, none of them ever have been, unfortunately or fortunately.
Yeah, no, that's the other thing too. Is every Super Bowl except for Seattle has been 3 points, and Seattle was 6 points because it just ended on the touchdown there. But so hopefully it's not a ridiculous. I'm sorry, Atlanta was 6 points, not Seattle.
Right.
So,
right.
But yeah, hopefully it's just. I'd love it to be a blowout one way or the other, just so it's not at the edge of your seat the entire game. And I guess that's what makes it so fun too. But I'd love it to be a blowout for us, obviously, than having to worry the entire time what's going to happen and have these heartbreaking moments at the end, the stupid catches for both Giants and the Seattle game and whatnot. So
I'm just gonna go tell you guys who the Eagles have played, okay? And it might make you view them differently.
All right, before you do that, Mike, could you rotate your phone 90 degrees so we could see you widescreen?
So I'm not like this way?
Yeah, there we go. And then there we go. Now we're gonna get you in full screen here when I edit the show here.
Speaking to the professional videographers over here. Okay.
Amazing.
All right, go ahead, Damien.
So the Eagles started off their season playing the Dorchester Pop Youth. No, they started the season against the Redskins. What do you think the score of that game was? Don't look.
The Redskins?
Yeah.
First game of the season, I want to say it was 17-14.
It was 30-17 Eagles. Okay.
Okay.
Redskins, do you consider them a powerhouse in the league?
No, but I think a 30-17 victory is a decent victory on opening day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next, they played the Chiefs, and we didn't fare too well against the Chiefs, right? But they lost to the Chiefs 27-20. All right.
What, are we going to do every single game? Or
It's important because then they played the Giants, the powerhouse Giants of the league.
Yeah.
Okay. They won 27-24. They played the Chargers, who didn't make the playoffs. They won 26-24. They played the Cardinals, who didn't make the playoffs, 34-7. They played the Panthers, who died in the playoffs. They beat them 28-23. Then they beat the Redskins, who also didn't make the playoffs, 34-24. They beat the Niners pre-Jimmy G, okay, didn't make the playoffs. They beat the Broncos, didn't make the playoffs. They beat the Cowboys, didn't make the playoffs.
We really are running through the whole schedule.
Yeah. They beat the Bears, didn't make the playoffs. The Seahawks then beat them. They barely beat the Giants at the end of the season, didn't make the playoffs. They barely beat the Raiders, didn't make the playoffs. The Cowboys beat them 6-0, and then they beat the Falcons 15-10, and then they beat the Vikings, who didn't know what they were doing. So, which team do you think played a tougher schedule?
The Redskins.
Agreed. No, but in all sincerity, the Eagles played nothing all year. So, good for them that they lucked out, and the fact that they kept winning without their quarterback says a lot.
I think I rather would have seen
Patriots 56, Eagles 3. I'm done.
Noted. I think I rather would have seen the cool aspect of a team that's from. They actually is the home team of the place where the Super Bowl is being held. If it was Minnesota, which I don't believe has ever happened, I think that would have been its own like its own thing to climb over. I thought Minnesota was going to win that game too, but Philadelphia just smoked them, obviously. So.
Yeah, no, it would have been a first if Minnesota was playing this game and they're playing their home stadium.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. I don't know. So I'm a little worried about the game. I don't think I've ever been super confident that it's going to be an easy victory, except for maybe I think the first Philly game. I was like, if we was no way we're losing this game.
That didn't change your mind that their regular season
No.
they played no playoff teams?
No, it doesn't matter.
It totally matters.
It doesn't matter.
Oh my God, matter. John, that matters.
Damien, it doesn't matter at all how you're playing in the playoffs?
It doesn't matter how they're playing in the playoffs?
Yeah, it means.
So, and they just smoked a decent Minnesota team that was good in the regular season, and they beat who did they beat the other week?
They beat
New Orleans. Not New Orleans. Who they beat?
The Falcons.
The Falcons. Yeah.
They beat the Vikings at home. The Vikings, a dome team, outside in the winter. That look statistically how often that happens. That dome teams lose in the playoffs when they play outside. I'm not scared of. At first, I thought these Eagles were going to be tough. Now I realized this is going to be a cakewalk. And when have you ever heard me talk like that? I really don't. I'm usually kind of a negative Nelly.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I'm just. I think this will be a good game.
The Eagles have about as much chance of winning the Super Bowl as Chipper Jones being like a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Which we're going to get to with Michael Long as well in a second here. I don't know. I just think it's going to be I think it'll be a close game. I don't think it's going to be an easy victory for either team.
Yeah, because we don't have all our weapons. But
right.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't
know. We'll crush.
We'll have to see. So. All right. Any other? I want to talk baseball too with you, Mike. I know you have a short time. So any other thoughts on the Super Bowl before we move on a little bit?
I mean, the fan base is blessed, beyond blessed. I mean, I may or may not have gotten into conversations, for lack of a better word, with people that we all know regarding how the team is played and whether or not how much we should criticize the team. And everybody has their opinion, but it's ridiculous. I don't know. Maybe the 49ers, the last type of run this type of run ever happened for a team in the NFL.
Right.
Steelers.
Consecutive. It's amazing. I don't know. Hopefully it works out for the local football team. That's all I can say.
All right, sounds good. All right, so as Damien alluded to a little bit earlier, Chipper Jones was inducted into the Hall of Fame today, along with Vlad Guerrero, Jim Thome, and Trevor Hoffman. Your thoughts on those four getting elected, and should another person have been elected instead or in addition to
And I have a follow-up question. Would you tell us who you voted for, or do you guys tend to keep that secret?
I'm allowed to keep a secret ballot. The rest of the writers have to submit it.
Gotcha.
Good.
Tweet it out or whatever we do nowadays. I mean, they're all relatively solid. I mean, Trevor Hoffman, conversation with a friend of mine recently, very boring pick. Yeah, he was 30 saves, 14 years in a row, but I mean, nothing really exciting about it. Not really. I mean, I think he has like a losing record. Not that win-losses mean anything for a closer, but played for the Padres forever. Did he pitch with the Angels towards the end? I don't remember where he finished up, but Vlad Guerrero's a guarantee. Tome's probably a guarantee with the type of career he had. He was like a very, very rich man's Adam Dunn type player where he just had a lot of bombs. I don't remember what his kind of average was like, but he just was always very reliable, very clutch for multiple teams. The fourth guy,
Chipper.
Chipper, yeah, Chipper's. I mean, Chipper to me is kind of like maybe I just didn't appreciate him enough, but he's kind of like the Trevor Hoffman pick, where it's like I know he was good, but it didn't really. I was just indifferent to him as a player. I knew he was good, but I didn't really care about him either way.
Chipper had, a young meme once modeled his entire batting stance after Chipper Jones. But I was talking with John earlier how Omar Vizquel was on the ballot this year.
I heard, yeah.
And my thing with that is, I think this is how voting should take place for the Hall of Fame. You look at who's in the Hall of Fame now, and you make the two best teams. Get like a starting pitcher and 9 fielders, okay? Or 9 batters, whatever you want to do, all right? Now, could you replace that position player with the guy in the ballot? Like, could you replace your third baseman that you picked with Chipper Jones and still be an awesome team? And if the answer is yes, then they belong in the Hall of Fame. I doubt very much whatever shortstop is there, if you replace him with little O, your team will stay unbelievably awesome.
Right.
So he shouldn't even been on the ballot.
Well, what's his comps to? I don't know the numbers, but Ozzie Smith. I mean, was he a similar type of statistical line?
I've never seen the most important stat. I've never seen him do a flip in the infield.
There.
I think Ozzie. Yeah. I think Ozzie had better offensive numbers when he was younger. And I could be completely off on this. They were both defensively, unbelievable. But I'm not positive. But I know Ozzie Smith towards the end of his career was, like the number 8 hitter in the National League, which would have been the number 9 hitter in the American League type of thing.
Okay,
yeah.
So he had that. Okay.
But Omar Vizquel was on steroids.
I don't think Omar was.
Everybody was.
Everyone on that Cleveland team probably was.
But it's also like Omar Vizquel, really good shortstop, and he wasn't a liability at bat. He was like a high average hitter. He didn't really bring power or anything, but he wasn't a liability at bat. But there was no wow factor to him. There's no aura of greatness. You know, Vlad Guerrero hit a home run from a ball that bounced off the dirt.
Yeah, he absolutely is.
And then he went into a burning orphanage and saved everyone. Like, there's an aura of greatness to Vlad Guerrero, not to Omar Vizquel.
Did you know that, Mike?
Yeah, the little. It was when he was in Montreal, actually, and most people don't know it here because it was only written in Quebecois. But like Chipper Jones, even as Mike bashed him because he blatantly told everyone that he didn't have TBS when he was a kid. Like Chipper Jones was still like a phenomenally good. I think he's a 3,000 hitter too, right?
No, he's 100% very solid. I think his stats back it up. He's 10, 15 years with the Braves. Only with the Braves too. I think he was only. He
only played with the Braves. And
no, I don't doubt the stats. I don't doubt the pick. To me, he just was never like anybody for me. I mean, I only base this off of having done fantasy baseball forever at this point, and he's not somebody I ever gravitated towards personally.
I'm just trying to pull up Chipper's numbers here from Baseball Reference, and my Wi-Fi is very slow right now. Here we go. So Chipper Jones, he was a 303 lifetime hitter.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And he had had 2,700 hits, so he was under 3,000. But I mean, I think he was just that all-star almost every year.
How many home runs?
Home runs, 468 home runs.
468. The pride of the Braves.
Now, I should know this being part of the Baseball Writers Association and all that, but there's two types of votes. There is what just happened tonight, and then there's something that happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
with,
it was.
And I forget the other player that was in that list.
Yeah, it was like it's like the new Veterans Committee.
So there's
so like they have like 3 committees
it's
now.
like the Electoral College.
Yeah, right. So they have a committee that votes on players from like ancient times or whatever. I forget what they call it.
Why?
So
if people didn't talk about them now, like then, why are we bringing it up now?
It is kind of weird. So they have these, like, I think it's like 3. So it's like the modern era, the golden era, and the really, really, really old era. And every so many years, those people get together and meet and vote on players that might not have been elected before. So for the really, really old era,
the guy might not have had polio, which was the advantage compared to the other players.
So they're going to meet every like 12 years or 15 years.
They should meet every 60 years.
It very well may be. And then the modern era, they meet every like 5 years to vote on players that might be worthwhile voting in.
Okay.
So that's how that goes.
Eventually, in 1,000 years, if human civilization is still around, or I would expand this, in like 5,000 years, every single baseball player will be in the Hall of Fame at the rate this is going. It's ridiculous.
Except McGuire?
Yeah, exactly.
No, because then there'll be a performance enhancing committee.
Well, maybe they should.
And they'll vote him in.
Yeah, so. I think they could always put it on the plaque thing. I don't really. I was thinking about this. I don't really have a take on the steroid users or the performance enhancing users. I probably lean towards they shouldn't be, but at the same time, I don't care enough to be like a.
Did Mark McGuire ever test positive for steroids?
They weren't testing for steroids or regularly testing. For anything.
Is there any conclusive evidence that he took steroids?
Somebody else put a bottle of Andro in his locker years back?
I bought a bottle of Andro for my locker years back. You could buy it at GNC. It was perfectly legal. So why are we hounding the guy on that?
Did you test positive for steroids?
I need to speak to my lawyer. No.
Well, see, that's
I played in the NCAA and I did not test positive for steroids.
But you could say that when McGuire tested, when McGuire testified before Congress, and they basically said, did you do steroids? He's like, I'm not here to talk about the past. That was basically yes, I took them.
Okay, look. Mark McGuire had very bad acne when he was in high school, and he was embarrassed to talk about it. And they gave him a steroid topical cream for his face. My sister had that.
And amazingly, he gained 60 pounds of muscle from 1987 until 2001.
And it dripped down as he was, doing his push-ups, and went all over his pectorals. But there's that's the thing. Like, there's no Like Sammy Sosa used cork bats. I could argue that against Sammy Sosa because his bat exploded and covered Chicago with cork. Okay, you kind of caught him red-handed. All right, Mark McGuire never had like a needle fall out of his pocket. Okay, as much as. Well, yeah, I was going to say Jose Canseco admitted to using steroids. But
see, he never tested positive for them. Canseco
but even though, like Mike said, they weren't testing, Mark McGuire never said, I used steroids. There's just no evidence. There's more evidence that Manning used HGH. We know that HGH was in a house that Manning lived in, right? That's a little more evidence than we have for Mark McGuire. Let the man in. Mark McGuire, if you're listening, you should be in the Hall of Fame. And if you're not, you should go there with a bat until they make you.
Nice.
I know you have time constraints here tonight, Mike, too. So any other thoughts you want to jump in with? I know you were chatting on our thread the other day about the WWE 25th anniversary of Raw as well. And we were talking to Seth a little bit about that. I don't know if you have any strong thoughts or if you're just neutral on that as well.
I don't want to step on the hottest takes that Mr. McLaughlin provides at all. So I would just say that it was just kind of being a wrestling fan. I'm a wrestling fan for 30 years. It wasn't necessarily anything exciting. I watch nowadays. I DVR the shows, but I usually fast forward through them and stop it when I want to. If I think something interesting is happening.
Yeah.
I keep up with it, but don't watch 3 hours every Monday night anymore. And the whole thing was mostly a bunch of old guys coming out saying, "Hey, everybody, remember when we used to do that thing? Remember?" And that was, the fans cheered, and yeah, it was fine. But at one point, the guys from DX said, we were the innovators for 25 years, and we'll be around for the next 25 years, and that really stuck. Okay. Sounds good.
That was one thing actually I was telling Seth is I had seen you chatting in the thread about it, and at the very end I was like, I'll turn it on real quick, and I haven't watched it in forever and a day, but I turned it on as DX was coming out, and then the 95-year-old Razor Ramon came out of the tunnel there, and I was like, oh my god, this guy looks 95. And then they cut to a commercial, and then afterwards he was just kind of when he was trying to talk, I was like, oh man, he said about 5 words too many, and he only said about 5 words. So
yeah, a lot of them were like that. Vince McMahon looked really old. The Undertaker looked he looked like Frazier at one point. There was a picture on the internet. It was tough.
So, all right. Well, either way, Mike, we appreciate you calling in and chatting on video chat here with us for the first time here on Sports Night. So we appreciate it.
I appreciate the opportunity, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right, say hi to all the family.
And the Baseball Writers of America. That's what baseball writers call
okay.
family.
All right, thanks, Mike. All right, so we want to thank Mike Long for calling in there and adding to our program here.
Have you heard about Isaiah Thomas and the Cavs?
So how he is the cancer of the team's current...
he called Kevin Love out.
So he was the one that called Kevin Love out? Interesting. I did not hear that part.
Isaiah Thomas is insane. I am convinced that he's insane. And I'm convinced that Danny was going to trade him. If he wasn't going to get Kyrie Irving, he was going to trade him for anything because he's like, this dude is legit nuts. First of all, the whole thing, when he finally said, you don't have to play my video. So first, that night the Pelicans were in town, so they brought it up to Rondo because, he was saying at the end of the season they were going to do, him and the guys are going to get together that won the championship.
Right.
And that Ray Allen was welcome back. They're like, hey, speaking of Pierce and stuff, did you hear about how Isaiah Thomas wants his video played when Paul Pierce's number is going to get retired? And Rondo was the voice of reason and said, what? Paul? What? What did he do? You get this guy's getting his number retired because he won a championship here and he played it for years.
Right.
He played in Boston for 2 years. He went to the conference final. What did he do? And then Pierce later, when somebody asked him, he said, "I don't want him playing that video. That's my night." Then Isaiah came on Twitter and gave this long dissertation that ended in basically, they're not gonna play the video. I talked to Danny for 40 minutes. What are you talking about? That is 39 and a half minutes too long.
So I think Pierce made a little bit too much of a deal on it. I can see why he might not want to have the video played, because again it's his night.
Yeah.
So there was no way you're going to be playing on Larry Bird night a tribute video to anyone else other than Larry Bird. Now, I'm not saying Paul Pierce is Larry Bird and how important he was to the team and to the city, but he is up there. He's one of the 5-6 best Celtics of all time.
Yeah, he is.
So, he's not one or two. You could say it's Bird or Russell. And from there, undoubtedly.
D. Brown.
Vitaly Potemkin.
Ed Pinckney.
Yeah. But anyway, so, Pierce is definitely one of the most important players that they've had. So, yes, he should have his entire night just for him, no other videos or anything like that, unless it was Isaiah Thomas and other players saying, hey, Paul Pierce, congratulations, or something like that, which I wouldn't even do either. It's just here's all these different things, and it's all Paul Pierce.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be him because he never played. It should be players that played with him.
Right.
Or even that played with him and are, on other teams. You know what I mean? Or played against them. Wouldn't it be
Right.
cool if like during that video, like I don't know, like Chauncey Billups was like, "Hey, Paul, you were a great contender."
Yeah, a contemporary, if Kobe Bryant said something to him or whatnot. But so I think Pierce made a little bit too much of a deal on it. But I mean, maybe you could have said he could have taken the high road. But maybe he's like, no, maybe he should have said, I would have liked to draw myself. You got to blame the Celtics for it. Why would they think it was okay to play a video for anyone else other than Pierce on that night? And I know it's his first return. They should have played it when he came back the first time, and Thomas didn't play because he was taking the night off.
My guess was they knew that this was going to happen. They knew that this was. They probably did not want to play video in him. Period. And they're like, don't play it on. They're like, sure. Danny is 6 steps ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, but he opened up Pierce to this too. Why would he want to open up Pierce to this possible critiquing?
Because you know what happened? Danny was like, got a text from Isaiah. He looked at his phone and goes, "Hey, Paul, I'm going to forward you something that Isaiah sent me."
So you think it was all set up?
I wouldn't be surprised if Isaiah was like, "Are you kidding me? Yo, tell him to play it on that night. Don't worry, I'll take care of it." Danny's like, "All right, Paul, I love you, man. You brought me a ring." That's what happened, guaranteed.
I hope that's what it was. And Paul was
Paul's like,
down for that.
he's like, it's my night. I can't look like a bad guy. I'll take.
But yeah, I just think it was, the whole thing was stupid. I mean,
yeah.
First of all, again, like I know Felger was talking about this when I was listening to what was happening, and I agree with on this thing. Why are we giving tribute videos to every single player that has ever played? Like they did one for
Crowder.
Crowder, thank you.
Yeah.
They did one for Crowder. I was like, come on. I was like, we should be doing things. If they did one for Ray Allen, at least Ray Allen, he played here for 5 or 6 years.
Ray Allen won a championship.
Right, he helped win the championship.
Yeah.
I can understand it. Maybe he left and people were upset with how he left, but he was a pretty critical part to that championship run. For those 3 years, he was starting all those games, and he was the guy for one of those teams, or one of the guys for those teams. Like you said, Thomas didn't really do anything here. He had one huge year here.
Yeah.
And everyone loved him. And then it went downhill, or then it was over. It wasn't even downhill. It was over.
Yeah.
And maybe it would have gone downhill if he had been here longer. But with all his talent, he's skipped around to so many teams. So it's like, did he not get a chance, or is there something else? Is it Isaiah Thomas is the problem, not the person, not the player?
I think Isaiah. The fact too that you just got to Cleveland. Granted, you were traded in the summer. All right. You just started playing again. You were injured, and to have the gall to call a meeting, and
right.
call a guy that has actually won a championship with that team
right.
out. No, he's nuts. He's nuts. He's a self-centered lunatic.
And that very well may be. So, but the other thing was that, I'm just looking up, how Thomas might have led the charge against Kevin Love in that Cavs team meeting. I don't think Kevin Love has any friends on that team either, on the Cavs team. I mean, and maybe I'm wrong. But maybe they need to get rid of both of them.
It's I don't think he's buddies with LeBron, and that's what seems to be like.
Isaiah isn't?
No.
Oh, Love. Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
That could make or break you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so because LeBron's not buddies with him, then Kevin Love, and maybe Isaiah looked at that and said, "Oh, I can attack him," because apparently on the court everyone calls him out for his defense. Isaiah.
Well, I think they got to know that's what they was getting. He's not an outstanding defensive player, and they had to have known that.
Yeah, I know, but they're saying it's not even the lack of inability; it's the lack of he's not even in the right position.
Well, and I think they had to have known that.
Yeah.
They had to know when he was coming in on offense, he's going to be 100% go and know where he's supposed to be and want to be there. And as soon as the ball crosses the other half of the court, he's going to give a 50% effort.
Yeah.
So, and I can see why they might call him out on that, but they had to have known it was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think definitely Thomas might have been the issue there. And maybe that's part of the reason why Danny wanted to get rid of him. And maybe he knew too that they weren't going to win a championship as him as the
one think
of the
about
key
look
players.
at this. Look, the guy was here for a year and a half, and his head is swollen.
Right.
He really thought that he was up there with all the great he thought that Boston was I made this town, this city.
Right.
You know what I mean? Have you not seen their record, dude? Yeah, he's delusional. He's a delusional human being. No ifs or buts about it. Guy's nuts.
Yeah, I think it'll be very interesting.
He needs to have some avocado ice cream and wrap his head in organic cabbage leaves.
One of the other things, I should have asked Seth about this, and I forgot about it, just thinking about it now. There was a talk last week about trying to get Anthony Davis, and who would you trade for Anthony Davis on the Celtics? Would you trade Jaylen Brown?
Yes.
Who would you not trade on the Celtics?
Kyrie, Gordon Hayward.
Really?
Yeah.
Those are the only two players you wouldn't trade?
Yep. I'm convinced basketball is a sport for studs.
Yeah.
You can only go so far without studs, a la last year with Isaiah Thomas, who was not a stud. But when you get studs, I mean, look what the Celtics are doing. We thought, we were going to have a run with Gordon Hayward and Kyrie.
Yeah.
Hayward got hurt. Just for Kyrie alone. And, just the coaching that they're going through and the strategy that the Celtics are running, like they're first seed in the East,
Right.
We would be crushing it if we had Gordon Hayward.
Would you trade Tatum for?
Yeah.
See,
Would you trade Al Jefferson for Kevin Garnett?
I remember that was a huge conversation back then.
But Al Jefferson, thought were going to be awesome.
So, KG, the thing that worries me about, oh God, now why am I blanking on his name?
Al Jefferson?
No, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is his injury, and is he injury prone, and his health? Can he stay healthy? Because that's the one thing that worries me. So that's why I would hesitate trying to trade him, especially if we're going to trade Tatum or Brown. I think that if we can keep Tatum, keep Brown, and again, same thing. Maybe they're having 2 great years, and then they're just going to go right down.
They could sign Alex Guerrero to be a trainer.
Well, maybe that would last them forever.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing about Anthony Davis that worries me is his health concerns and him staying healthy. Because I think he's fragile because he's 7 feet and he weighs 85 pounds. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, he's a growing boy. He's still a young fella.
No, I know he's still young, but I think that's just the one thing that worries me is that when you get to some of these tall guys, you always seem to have an issue with them. I mean, like, there aren't many 7-footers or right around it that have gone through a whole career without having some sort of injury or don't last that long. I mean, Garnett had that 1 year of injury, but other than that, he was kind of like, an outlier. Dirk was a big guy, but he doesn't play like the big guy game, or at least he didn't. He was always on the perimeter playing.
Yeah.
And obviously Davis would be like that a little bit as well. But Davis is going to be going up against centers and power forwards. Dirk wasn't going up against centers all the time either, so he wasn't getting a lot of that physical contact.
But he's not going to be banging part. This offense, I don't think that they have that.
No, I know. I think the thing about Davis worries me about is his health.
It will be fine.
Porzingis the same thing. I think and maybe I'm wrong about that, and I'm just wrong.
So you limit their minutes, just like Golden State Warriors are doing with everybody.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You could look at Durant, and Durant came back pretty healthy from his foot injuries. I mean, I think if that could have gone one way or the other. If he didn't take care of that, he might have been done. And we're talking about how great he was and could have been if he had stayed healthy. But who knows?
Modern medicine. If they could put a cadaver's neck in Peyton Manning, NBA guys will be just fine. It's not the 80s anymore.
It definitely is not.
I need to get rolling.
Yeah.
But I want to before. So LeBron James, do you see how he congratulated himself? Talk about another egomaniac.
Obviously, he didn't mean to do that. How it happened, he tweeted it out or sent it on Instagram by accident. I'm assuming.
No, he didn't. It was like he probably had somebody like ghostwrite it for him as he like.
I just think that he meant to like send that to somebody else and have like
you write this for me.
Yeah, like here. I wrote this for you. Now you send it out, and he accidentally sent it out himself. And maybe I'm wrong, or he had one of his buddies on Instagram that controls his account and forgot to switch accounts, and it was on LeBron's account instead of Damien's account.
He wanted that out to like. He probably thought that he looks humble by writing to himself in his crazy egomaniac mind. But he has 30,000 points. Can you name the other people that have 30,000 points?
Do you know all of them?
Yes.
Okay, tell me how many there was. Was he the 6th or the 7th?
Name names, and then I'll tell you if
Okay, Kareem.
Yep, he's number 1.
He's number 1. Karl Malone is number 2, I believe.
Yep, Malone's 2.
Jordan.
Jordan is like 4th.
Okay, so Jordan. Kobe.
Kobe is there. I think he passed Jordan.
Jabbar. Malone. Jordan. Kobe. And
Think of longevity.
is Dirk up there now?
Dirk is there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Dirk is there. Yeah, so there you go. Those are your 30,000
point scores. Interesting.
I forgot if Chamberlain was there, but
I'm not too sure.
But yeah. He's up with the ranks of Karl Malone. The mailman.
Yeah, no, I think that whole thing was, the stupidest thing he possibly could have done.
First, take a moment to thank yourself. Oh my God,
I know,
he's such an egomaniac.
I was trying to see if I can bring up points scored here.
He's the Cam Newton of like him and Cam Newton have very similar. Like when Cam Newton got a concussion and then he fainted on the sidelines.
Yep.
That's not how concussions work, dude. We all know.
All right. So Kareem, Malone, Bryant, Jordan, Chamberlain. Those are the top 5.
Yeah. Then
Dirk is 6. Dr. J, they have combined NBA, ABA.
Oh, see,
and then
on the thing I saw that they didn't have him.
Yeah, well, because this on Basketball Reference has.
Yeah.
So, but he wouldn't be on just the NBA.
The ABA is just considered a hard CYO
right.
league.
And then LeBron and Moses Malone had 29,500, so he was almost there.
Yeah.
And Shaq runs at the top 10 with 28.5.
See, I was surprised Shaq didn't make it for as long as he played, and he had those years where he averaged 38 points a game.
But he had some injury years too.
Yeah.
So, well, anyway, pretty interesting. All right, well,
a celebratory night of LeBron James here on
it's
Sports.
the worst way to end a program. All right, well, anyway,
final score of the Super Bowl, John.
Final score of the Super Bowl. All right, so when we played the Giants, it was 20-19, 20-17, one of the scores when we lost. Yeah. I picked that exactly, and I hated picking the Giants, but I picked it exactly. I hate to do this. I want to go Philly 31, the Patriots 24.
Patriots 17, Philly 13.
17-13.
It's going to be a low one.
What did I say, 31-24?
Yeah, watch it be 54-0.
All right, well, we will make track of that and see for the next show how we did.
And I really hope I have to buy another, Super Bowl championship T-shirt to wear to Arizona.
Teresa's like, are you going to get an AFC championship?
I'm like, no, get AFC championship. That's what losers do.
Well, especially now.
Yeah.
Maybe in 2001 you might have gotten it because it was cool, but I've said, no, the only thing I ever get now is championship stuff. So whether it's Super Bowl or World Series or NBA Stanley Cup, it has to be a championship. That's how spoiled we are right now.
Oh yeah,
and I'm glad to do that.
Yeah,
I'm so glad to do that. So, all right, we'll see what happens here.
Alrighty.
All right, so for Damien Ritchie, for Seth McLaughlin who called in, from Mike Long who called in, my name is Jonathan Calleri. Thanks for tuning in to Sports Night. We will see you next time.